Today I will be comparing and contrasting the external and internal structures of the crayfish and squid. So let's start out with the symmetry of these organisms. Looking at the crayfish, you can see that I drew a line straight down the middle. With the crayfish upright and upside down, you can see that both the left and right halves are mirror images of each other. This means that the crayfish is bilaterally symmetrical. Let's move on to the squid. I also drew a line straight down the middle of it. I did this to show that just like the crayfish, both the left and right halves of the squid are mirror images of each other. This means that it is also bilaterally symmetrical. When the crayfish was cut open, it led to all these organs, such as the circulatory system, muscles, the digestive system, and many other bodily structures. This means that the crayfish is a coelomate, because it has this body cavity called a coelom, but it is also completely lined with mesoderm. The mesoderm allowed it to form many of these organs that I was just talking about, such as its muscles and circulatory system. The squid has a coelom as well. I know this because it has a space where a lot of its organs are held. If it was an acoelomate, which means it has no coelom, then there would be no space between the outer wall of the squid and the digestive system. The squid's coelom is fully filled with mesoderm, or fully lined with mesoderm, which means that it is also a coelomate. So let's move on to the digestive system. Both the squid and the crayfish have a complete digestive system because they have an entryway, which are their mouths, and an exitway, which are their anuses. So the beginning of the digestive system starts out with ingestion. This is both different for the crayfish and the squid because the squid does this by grabbing its prey with the tentacles and bringing it to its mouth, while ingestion happens in a crayfish when food enters the mouth and goes through the esophagus into the cardiac stomach. Mechanical digestion is different for both the squid and the crayfish because the squid uses its beak, radula, and stomach to take apart its food, while the crayfish uses its cardiac stomach and gastric teeth. The gastric teeth are located within the gastric mill of the crayfish. Chemical digestion and absorption happens really close to one another for both the squid and crayfish, with the squid using its cecum and intestines to chemically digest and absorb food, while the crayfish uses its pyloric stomach and intestines to do the same thing. But the squid and crayfish have similar respiratory systems, with them both having gills in order to breathe. Their circulatory systems, on the other hand, are very different. The squid's circulatory system consists of one systemic heart, two branchial hearts, arteries, capillaries, and veins. These hearts pump blood through the arteries, which carry blood away from the heart, and the veins bring blood back to the heart, while the crayfish has a singular heart which pumps hemolymph into the arteries and throughout the hemocoel. Crayfish and squid have two different circulatory systems, with the squid having a closed system and the crayfish having an open system. These systems have their own benefits because for squids, which can live in various different ocean habitats depending on its species, it needs to be able to catch its prey and be able to escape its predators. And having a closed circulatory system allows it to do so, because it gives the squid the ability to move at faster speeds. The crayfish, on the other hand, has an open circulatory system, and this benefits it because they live in mostly rivers, lakes, and ponds where they eat plants, insects, and many other slow-moving prey. Having an open circulatory system makes it not grow as large and as fast as animals with a closed circulatory system. But this works with the crayfish because it allows them to better hide from predators. Reproduction happens differently in both squid and crayfish. In squid, reproduction starts when the male releases a spermatophore into the female sperm receptacle, which is located within the mantle cavity. Fertilization occurs when the sperm is released from the spermatophore and comes into contact with the eggs that are produced in the female ovary. So fertilization happens within the sperm receptacle, and gestation happens within the eggs that the female releases into the ocean. For the crayfish, reproduction happens when the male releases sperm from his copulatory cymaret and into the female seminal receptacle. Fertilization happens within the female seminal receptacle, and gestation happens within the eggs that are laid within the female swimmeret, which is located in her abdomen.